Hello, everyone, and welcome to Air Out Magazine. Today, we are proud to present our person of profile. We have chosen a local community member who is making a great impact within many communities throughout Utah, within his shared organization of the Salt Lake City Air Protectors. The person we have chose for our profile subject is someone we believe is an individual of great humility and shows a great example of being an exceptional citizen. The person we have decided to award this title is Carl Moore of Salt Lake City, Utah. What do we say to continue on about this exceptional person in the community? Well, first and foremost, like we mentioned earlier, Carl is the co-founder and chairperson of the Salt Lake City Air Protectors. He is 42 years old, a Utah native that majored in political science and minoring in American Indian Studies. Carl Moore and members of the SLC Air Protectors organization are working to make a difference for the communities here in Utah. Carl Moore is Hopi and Chemehuevi and believes that all humans innately have equal worth and value. Since he was 10 years old, Carl has been a cultural performer. To him, he has done cultural performing as a form of activism to show the world of Native Americans in a different perspective because he felt there was a bad perception and stereotypes of the Native culture. He decided to show people that there was beauty within his culture.
10 years old, I learned how to dance, so I've been dancing all over the world, United States, whatever, dancing. So, and I've done that as kind of a form of activism because I did that to kind of show the world Native Americans in a different perspective. Because when I was growing up, there's these bad stereotypes, whatever, like the drunk Indian, the stupid Indian, the backwards Indian, whatever what that was. And I felt like there was a bad perception of what natives were. So I learned how to dance. I did that. I showed people, that there's beauty in our culture. And I did that to help out our community that way. So I've been doing that for a long time. Yeah.
As Carl, being a Utah resident, understood that the air was bad at times here, but for a long time it wasn't really on his radar. It wasn't until it came down to the science of particulates when he discovered that Utah has worse air days sometimes than China. Figures show from the American Lung Association ranks Salt Lake City as having the 6th worst air quality in the nation, with a whopping F grade in both ozone and particle pollution. Utah has failed to reach the EPA's 2006 guidelines and was unable to reach the EPA's moderate classification by its 2015 due date. Now the Beehive State will have to try again to demonstrate its attainment by 2019. What ultimately started Carl's activism was when the protest at Standing Rock had happened. He began following the story on Facebook, and his inspiration came from the joining of the Crow Nation with the Sioux Nation, which Carl will give some details about.
And then recently, when Standing Rock happened, that's really when I started my activist, like what people would think was an activist. That's when I started doing that. So, Standing Rock happened, and it's kind of cool. Like, what inspired me was, do you remember when Standing Rock happened and you see, like, things on Facebook? You remember that?
Yeah,
I don't know if you're part of that. Okay. So, things are happening on Facebook, and one thing, and I saw it, and I was watching it for, like, 2 or 3, 4 weeks, whatever, and I was like, oh, wow, this is happening, but it wasn't really real to me enough. And then I saw the Crow people, they came into that camp there.
Yeah.
And that was huge. That was a significant thing because the Crow people are enemies of the Sioux people, the Lakota people.
Oh, wow.
So to have that kind of support,
yeah.
Man, you know, that was something that to me said, oh wow, this is really this is a really important thing. If enemies are going to come together and support each other. So at that moment, I realized how important this was. So I actually I put together a rally. Capitol, like 3,000 people came out. It was huge. We marched down the street to the library.
At that point, he decided to put together a rally to unify people and send a response to the activity that was happening as a result of the Dakota Access Pipeline at Standing Rock. Protest on September 17, 2016 had 3,000 people show up. Beginning from Capitol Hill and in Salt Lake City, they marched all the way down to the Salt Lake City Library. He received a lot of positive feedback from people who attended the event and decided to start a group and created Pandos. He had this group for about 4 to 5 months and receives a call from a friend named Michael Kunduk. Carl had done a fundraiser with him previously and was familiar with who he was. Michael had just come back from Standing Rock and from being influenced by Standing Rock water protectors, introduced the idea of having an air protectors division with Carl based on indigenous sovereignty with an environmental approach. Carl, excited with the idea, moved on with Michael to create the SLC Air Protectors. Though the air quality is of great concern, one is the topic of the inland port that will create an industry hub for the state of Utah and increase air pollution to areas such as Rose Park and Glendale. This hub will involve more planes, trucks, and trains, etc. This area is considered an area of environmental genocide. Unhealthy living surrounded by 3 interstate freeways, an airport, a freight rail line, and heavy industrial businesses. The city's west side residents are among the state's poorest, least educated, and most ethnically diverse, according to health department data. They also live in the worst of the worst when it comes to hazardous waste sites. On top of having concern over the air quality for Utah residents, Carl understands its effects will also be on wildlife.
With a group called Relief Utah, which we're planting trees a lot on the west side, Rose Park, Glendale area, where unfortunately that's where you call it like environmental racism, right? Like you have like a lower income, which are usually people of color, lower income are like pushed in this area, which is highly affected by oil refineries,
and you said
gravel pits.
It was, oh my gosh, you said Glendale, no, the areas that would be affected, so that would be Rose Park, Glendale, and you mentioned another one.
So it's basically south of the Great Salt Lake and east of the Great Salt Lake, you know, so where the, what is that, Legacy Highway? Where Legacy Highway is, that's actually a part of it, so that area, which is a big deal because that's where the marshes are, habitat. And the thing that a lot of people don't realize is that most of the birds that migrate from like Mexico, South America, Central America, and go north, they're going through the Salt Lake area. So we're affecting like these huge populations of birds, right? And obviously like there's a connection between what happens to the birds. Eventually it's going to catch up to us, right? Like the fish or whatever it is, whatever is in the ecosystem, it all has an effect on us. One of kind of the key points that we have as indigenous stewards is that we were mandated by the Creator, the Divine, to protect our relatives. That's not just people, that's also the environment, the ecosystem. So it's like a thing that we're mandated to do is to take care of.
When I first met Carl at the SLC Air Fair in Salt Lake City on January 31st, 2019, he told me that he believes that one way to make great change within our state and local communities is by to simply start at home by gardening and growing your own food, planting trees, which could help create less emissions, and community gatherings, and most importantly, to live more responsibly. Through his shared organization, the SLC Air Protectors Pledge is to protect the air and the natural environment by promoting and or participating in all the official actions of the air protectors that align with their personal standards. I pledge to lead by example in my personal and public life and to do what is in my power to reduce pollution and make a positive impact. I pledge to be a solution-focused and corporate with my community for the greater good regardless of culture, race, religion, age, ability, gender, orientation, or political affiliation. Core principles of the SLC Air Protectors are environmental protection, action-oriented, lead by example, make a positive impact, solution-focused, cooperation, and inclusion. Ultimately, Carl is trying to make the world a better place for his 7 children and granddaughter by uniting peoples of all backgrounds to participate in PANDOS and the SLC Air Protectors. SLC Air Protectors is an Indigenous-led organization with the approach to elevate the voices and perspectives of us, or everyone, and Mother Earth. Instead of going with other groups, Carl believes that his group, unlike others, brings morality and the right to declare what is sacred, bringing to the world a voice that is more spiritual heart. Once again, Air Out Magazine is proud to present our person of profile, Carl Moore, co-founder and chairperson of Salt Lake City Air Protectors. This is Natalie Abinader with Air Out Magazine. Thanking all the listeners out there. Feel free to click the link below if you want to check out our other posts on our magazine website. And have a great day.